Welcome to a very late night episode of Call to Cinema. I did not expecting to be doing this right now, but hi there. My name's Aaron. I'm in my study tonight. I just got finished watching actually a few Giallo films tonight, but there's one in particular that I wanted to talk about. Now, first off, if you haven't yet picked up this here box set, which is Vinegar Syndrome's Forgotten Gialli box set, Volume 1, because there are more coming, probably one more this year actually. Do pick it up. I've gotten through the first film in the set, or the first film that I grabbed out of the set, and it's not just any film, it's a Spanish Giallo film, which kind of seems like a misnomer, but there are Spanish Giallo films. And hey there, Jason, and not just any Spanish Giallo film. It is Klimovsky's last film. And if the name kind of sounds familiar, then you're probably a Paul Naschy fan, because Klimovsky did a lot of Paul Naschy stuff. No, he did a lot of stuff outside of Paul Naschy as well, including this, which does not have Paul Naschy in it at all. But this is Trauma. And it stars Agatha Lies, who has dark hair in here, or Leash, like Agatha Leash, I think it's called. She's gorgeous, by the way. There she is, right there. Now, if you don't recognize her right away, the reason for that probably is because for a significant, large part of her career, she was kind of a platinum blonde. She even actually acted in a movie called The Next Marilyn. So that can kind of give you an idea of her and how far she's gone from her kind of her comfort zone, you would say, in this film right here. Now, one thing I'm going to say right away is this is going to get, hey there, George, into spoilery territory. But I feel very confident in spoiling this one, because I will tell you right now, within the first 2 to 3 minutes of this film, you're gonna know. It's not gonna be a surprise who the killer is. But we're gonna go to the plot first, and then I'm gonna go into spoilery territory, and then I'm gonna go into some conjecture. Because not only did I watch the movie, but I watched the movie twice. I watched it again with the commentary on that Troy Haworth did, which is a fantastic commentary. However, there are a couple things that I wondered about, and I surmised by going through the film a couple times, that he didn't really touch on. And so I kind of wanted to touch on it here tonight with you guys. So, welcome to the Call of Cinema. If you haven't hit the like button, please do so. Please stay around and talk to me about Trauma, among other things. This was originally going to be a pre-recorded review. That's how I planned to do it. But I wanted to do something where we could kind of talk together. And if you've seen this movie, it's a bonus. But even if you haven't seen the film, hopefully by the time I finish talking about it, you're not just going to want to see this film. You're probably going to want to pick up the Forgotten Gialli box set. It's really good. And it's in my opinion, it's a steal of a deal right now on Vinegar Syndrome. So Trauma is a film about a writer who has pretty much gone up to this bed and breakfast type place where he initially goes to spend the night, and we're not quite sure, like a lot of it at first, where we know that he's gone to kind of get away from his wife, who he kind of speaks of as kind of like a bit of a shrew, a bit of like a harsh person, and he's trying to kind of find himself, to get his mojo back, kind of to do some more writing. When he gets there, he meets this girl right here. It should be, and she's a very charming, very alluring, very quiet. Hey there, Adrian. Girl, and she runs a bed and breakfast. She has a sick, unseen husband, who she goes up and talks to in the upstairs area, and we see the chair, and we see her talking to the chair. Throughout the film, people will come in and out of this kind of bed and breakfast place. Every one of them, that's male and female, most especially female, will be disrobed and have their clothes taken off at one point or another within this film. So if you're there, either Joseph, and you see a girl and say, "Well, she's kind of attractive. I wonder if she's going to be naked." Yes, she is. Yes, she will be naked. Every girl in this film will be naked. It is a Spanish film. It was done around the time that the censorship was because, well, Franco had passed, and the censorship was rules were really tight before then. Now they became more lax, and when they did, they really started to like feel the feel like kind of just feel the freedom. Like they were like, we can do this now. We can do whatever we want to do, and they did it. Now there are some really cool like actors in this one right here. There are a few that would only be in one or two films, would have a small role, small roles. There's actually even a girl here. If the IMDb is correct, oh God, what's her name? Forster, somebody Forster. She was about 16 when the film was made, and she does the new gymnastics. But don't worry, it's pretty tame, and it was legal, I guess, for that. There, it's not titillating, and that's again if the IMDb is correct. There's not a lot of information on this actress out there, but he was a mean man. And we're not obviously we're not talking about Jez Frank. We're talking about the leaders of Spain. But anyway, so she keeps like having flashbacks of her husband and how he was abusive to her and would kind of would be like would assault her and just be very very harsh. Like there's one sequence where she's like she's talking to the chair and she says, "Okay, I know you're going to hit me if I don't do this." So she does a seductive. We'll call it a seductive dance. We'll go with that. We'll say it's a seductive dance. So eventually, the killer of the film will be revealed, but not before there's a pretty good straight razor, like a pretty decent like straight razor murders. There's a few of them actually. There's a couple that gets murdered, a young couple at first. Then we see the murder of another couple. Enjoy, man. Pretty much everybody except for a couple people are gonna get killed in this. But don't worry, they'll all take their clothes off for you, even the people you don't want to, including the star of the film. And the star of the film is also, by the way, what's his name again? Heinrich, right? Heinrich Starenberg. I'm going to say that he looks like. You ever see Mitchell and Webb? You ever see the TV show Mitchell and Webb? Anybody? Or Peep Show? Either one. Either one's good. So let me know if you see either one of those shows. So the guy looks like a harsher looking version of that guy, of the geekier of the two looking dude. Or if you're in the UK and you saw the PC Mac commercials, the PC guy, that guy. So anyway, he's the romantic lead of this film. And he's also the producer of the film. So let's just say acting isn't his forte really. But we're going to get into spoiler territories. And if you haven't figured it out already, this movie owes a tremendous amount to Psycho. And I normally wouldn't go spoilery 8 minutes into a conversation, but yeah, I've spoken longer about this film than it will take you to figure out the twist of this film. Or the first twist, maybe, depending on how you take the film. So we see her talking to her husband in a big chair, his favorite chair. He's sick. Her husband is sick, and he can't come downstairs, or talk to anybody. And unlike Mrs. Bates, there's not even a voice that we hear from him. We just see the back of a chair, and we hear her talking. You see where I'm going with this? Can you see where I'm going with this film? And this is not taking it away. It's still a bloody brilliant film. and I'll get into some of the more subtle nuances. Who the killer is not a subtle nuance. It's her. It's definitely you know it's her though. From the very first minute that you see her talking to that empty chair upstairs, it's pretty obvious. Memories with yeah, exactly. There's a good example that this girl is she's not playing with full deck, and not only that, but it's pretty obvious that she's the killer. Now, I have a theory though that Troy Holworth did not talk about on his commentary, but it is a great commentary. I listened to it all the way through. It was very engaging. Just so you know, if you get the movie, watch the movie first, then go back and listen to the commentary afterwards. But there's some sequences in this film that makes me think, that leads me personally to believe, and I would love if one of you guys had seen this film actually, but if not, that if you can let me know what you think after you see this film, if you see and notice the same things that I notice. I think there was more than one killer in this movie. It's never said outright, and it's never really kind of like, it's very ambiguous in the way that it's done. And maybe it's just the way that I perceived or saw certain things within this film. And before I go any further, the one thing I've got, there's a couple things that I gotta explain. Within the film, the lead, the protagonist of the film, the writer, is very. The actor himself is stiff. He's kind of stiff. He's not exactly the most enigmatic actor in the world, but he does a good job in what he does. And early on he meets this young boy, this like kind of like teen, 13, 14-year-old boy, I guess maybe 15. But there's a sequence early on in the film where he kind of like, he sneaks up on the boy and like kind of scares him, just like because he sees the boy kind of like looking around and kind of like spying. And there's another scene just a little bit later, which is a bit uncomfortable, actually, where the boy is going out in like kind of just getting out of the water, and he's drying himself off, and the man comes over and puts his hand on his shoulder, lingers a little bit too long, and kind of and talks to him. That's the second thing that stood out. Later on, his wife will come up to meet him, and we'll learn that he's impotent, and he can't make love to his wife. There's no reason given for that, and it's left, I guess, ambiguously for us to surmise the reason behind, whether they've got a bad relationship or maybe there's something else underlining that's causing this. Yeah. You following the train so far? Are we all still on the same track here? There's a couple sequences in the film where we see the killer's hands right out. And I know in a lot of films what they'll do is they'll have just anybody come in and play the hands of the killer to do like just to be like the just to kind of be the kind of be the stunt killer type thing, so you don't guess who it is. However, there's one sequence in the film where he can't, no, he can't at all. Like they're in bed and he just can't. So he can't, like, I'm not, as in he can't have babies, like he can't perform. So in the, there's a sequence in the film, hey there, Scholar, where a murder is happening. And what's happened right before then, and I think I really got to preface this part, is that this man has gone up with his mistress, who's kind of a lady of the evening, a very attractive girl, by the way, who definitely didn't act in enough films, with gorgeous eyes, and he's killed off, but she doesn't know that he's killed. She thinks that he's left her, so she comes on to the writer and asks him to meet her outside later on. Like she said, I'll just go outside. I knew you were watching us earlier, so I'm just going to go outside and I'll wait for you out there. Now, right after that, she's killed by somebody wielding a straight razor, which we would see in the film, and we would see in the hand of the killer right here. It's all region. So you're good, George. But this time, when we see the murder, this time when we see the gloves and the slashing, we can see significant amount of hair on the arms. A which again, some people can take as like maybe they just somebody doing it, but it's you can see it a bit in another scene, but in this scene it's really noticeable. And now, obviously, we've already gotten spoiler territory. So basically, him and his wife are the two people that live at the end of the film. And at the end of the film, they're driving away, and she asks if he needs his cigarettes, and she puts her hand in his pocket and pulls out a gigantic straight razor, which is in his pocket. And just as she does that, she kind of looks at him oddly, and the little boy is there, like the boy with no shirt on is waving at him as he's driving by, and he puts his hand out and he smiles in an odd way, and he waves at the boy. Hey there, Ricky. So, from what I just said, does anybody kind of get the same feeling that I have right now? In that, at least in this case, not something like it may not be with any of the other murders. This may have just been with this one murder, but in this case, it's she's a threat to him, and she's a threat to his sexuality, which is dangerous, which is a dangerous sexuality. Because if I read it right, and please let me know if you see this movie, if you feel that it's the same way, that he's he's either a pedophile, or he is trying not to be, and the girl coming on to him has brought out a violent outburst. It is his last film, actually. Not only is it a Giallo, but this would be Leon Klimovsky's last film. And it's not like a tragic thing where like he did this film and he died shortly after. No, he actually retired and he lived for a nice while after this. But yeah, this would be the last film that he would complete. And it is it's called Trauma. It is a fantastic, fascinating little film. And one of the big reasons that I wanted to come on here and talk about it with you guys is the fact that, one, I love the film. I really enjoyed the commentary, but I'm guessing because it's not because a lot of the people that have made the film, like since then, have passed on and stuff like that. There's no out and out like reading of the film. So Troy Holworth, who does a great job in the commentary, decides to stick away from. You'll say that it's ambiguous, but then he'll go more into Giallo territory. It's going to break down Giallo as such, and he does a good job doing that, by the way. But he stays away from the ending of the film, and he does like mention once that he thinks that there may be some repressed homosexuality with the main lead. But I kind of think that it's going a bit farther than that, because the kid is so young, and because that the reaction, if I read it correctly, that he has is so violent. Because when the girl gets murdered, like a lot of them get slashed and stuff, but this girl really gets slashed. Like her face is all slashed up, and it just seems a little bit different than the other murders, just slightly. Like, but that's my thoughts on Trauma. I love this film. I cannot wait to watch the other two films in this set. I was initially going to watch the second one in this series, but after watching this, after listening to the commentary, the only thing that I could think about that I wanted to do, and here, take this as a great compliment here, guys, is I wanted to come on here and I wanted to talk about it with you guys. I wanted to talk about Klimovsky's last film, Trauma. And the ambiguity that I don't think is as ambiguous as it seems. I would definitely recommend grabbing this during the sale. 100%. If you haven't grabbed it, and I just watched the first film and listened to the first commentary. I haven't got into the murder is one of 13, which, by the way, does have Paul Nash in it. And police are blundering in the dark. This is the year of Giallo. It's definitely the year of Giallo. Some people say it's the year of the box sets, but really, Giallo was really taken over this year, from the Vinegar Syndrome stuff to the Severance stuff. Just the amount of Giallo that's being put out. Again, if you weren't here when I did this and you never watched the other video, this is a gorgeous looking disc, and the killer uses a straight razor in this one. So there's a straight razor with the straight razor blood splatters, and the blood splatters actually suit the type of blood that's in this film. Comes with the trial work commentary, this promotional image gallery, which I did not check out yet. See, Naschy's not in that one. Now, the one that's not done by Klimovsky, the one that's done by Javier Aguirre, I'm really probably butchering that name, by the way. But yeah, you'll know the name, trust me. The Killer is one of 13. This one, pretty sure this one has Naschy in it. Actually, I'm certain it has Naschy. Yeah, it does. It's a Naschy and Jack Taylor, both of them are in it. So this is pretty much, and then there's none. So definitely worth checking out. And Police Are Blundering in the Dark, which is one that has a commentary by Rachel Nesbitt. By the way, the Naschy one, not the Naschy one, Naschy has a part in it. The Killer is one of 13. That has a commentary, I think it's by Kat Ellinger. So let me make sure I'm right on that one though. Yeah, it has Kat Ellinger commentary. So you know you're getting some quality stuff when it comes to that. Rachel Nesbitt does the commentary on this one here. And I am so looking forward to checking out the rest of this. Warlock's right in the fact that, you know, this is a new release. So this having any type of like sale amount on it is probably not going to be very likely. That being said, buy it. It is 100%. I will say it right now. It is a fantastic set. It is gorgeously made. It is incredibly well done, and it's got 3 commentaries. That's what it has. And you know what? That's what you need for films like this. It's exactly what you need. There's a lot of Giallo documentaries out there, whether the one Severin put out before, the one that's on the Tenebrae set. But this here, when you're watching movies like this, when you're watching older, forgotten Giallis, then a commentary is literally the best feature that you can get, because if not, you're going to get a 15-minute talking head is what you're normally going to get with something like this, because a lot of these people are passed away. You'd be talking to like maybe an historian or someone that's hopefully a fan of the film, because sometimes you'll get them talking about the movie and they don't actually like the film themselves. So when it comes to this, I hope that when they do a second volume of this, because you know there's going to be a second volume coming out, that it'll follow suit and it'll stick with 3 new films, with 3 more commentaries. And there's the thing, yeah, this is volume 1. There will be more volumes. If you miss it on volume 1 and you're putting this in your shelf and you're putting volume 2 in your shelf, like, man, I should have really bought volume 1. And I'm going to give you an example of like how this happens. By one that didn't sell out and lasted for a long time, but only after volume 2 came out later on, people kind of got onto volume 2, did people start going back to look for volume 1, and they were gone. It happened with the American Horror Project that Arrow Video put out, and it happened with Indicator's Hammer films. And I gave you guys enough warning with the Indicator Hammer stuff when they were out there. Now everybody's buying the indicator releases. Just ask George, he has them all. Um, and they've a lot of them have missed out on the first volume of the Hammer set. A lot of them have missed out on the first volume of the American Horror Project set. Hopefully, you're able to get them before they both went out of print. If you are a Giallo fan, don't miss out on the Forgotten Gialli set Volume One, because you may say, "Well, I kind of exactly." Yeah, these definitely aren't going to be ones that are going to be released again. I don't think these are going to be released again. And people ask me, like, are these going to be released separately? Well, one, I don't work for Vintage Cinema, so I don't know. But look at the set. In all honesty, look at this set. Do you want one or two of these on your shelf, or or do you want this set on your shelf? I, I, I think we know the answer. You're a Giallo fan. You're a box set fan. You're a Vinegar Syndrome fan. Yeah, this is incredibly well done. Warlock, I'm sure you got it, or you got it coming at least, right? Because don't you have yours what's done with the May package? If I'm correct. Yeah, I don't see this being re-released on DVD or any. I mean, like Vinegar Syndrome putting it on DVD. Now they do that with some of their adult titles, but I've never yet seen them do a lot with their other titles as well. But yeah, definitely, definitely grab this set. Uh, and right now, I also mentioned the Umberto Lenzi Carol Baker set that Severin's putting out. Yeah, that's if you like Giallo, you're gonna want that. We're doing a lot of Giallo talk recently, and I kind of like that because it up there with slashers. Giallo may be my favorite genre of all time, and it's kind of my go-to for films. Like in 2 or 3 weeks. I want to know your thoughts, Warlock, on Trauma, especially. So once you watch it and you're on here, try to remember that I asked you that, because as straightforward as it seems, if you saw the first of this video, I don't think it's as straightforward as it plays out. And I really enjoyed it. I did not know going in that this was Leon Klimovsky. I had no idea. I didn't know that he had a film on here. It was brilliant to see two Spanish films on here, and two Spanish films that I hadn't seen. And when I watched, I was 5 minutes into Trauma, and I'm like, I have not seen this film. It's glorious that I haven't seen this film. And oh look, every female in this movie is going to be naked. Also a glorious thing. So you can't fault that on the film as well. It's a Giallo film. Hey, welcome, Indy. Drink a lot of tea during the daytime too. I gotta drink a lot of tea. Oh, yeah, the commentary tracks on these Indy. Well, I've only watched the first one so far, Trauma. I really, really enjoyed it. Troy Holworth did a great commentary, but it didn't get into some of the things that I wanted to get into. That's why I came on here. I'm really excited to listen to Rachel Nesbitt's commentary and to listen to Kat Ellinger's commentary as well. Yeah, those are names that you think about when it comes to commentaries. We're spoiled this year when it comes to box sets. We're particularly spoiled when it comes to Giallo. Do you know how often, like, it's been for us people that like Giallo? You know what I had to do to get, like, just like Dario Argento movies back then, to get them uncut? I had to order a book which cost me $5 from Video Search Miami, and then I would spend $25 to get one movie on VHS, with no cover, by the way. The thing is, I'm not sure if I have a list of movies that, and maybe some of you guys do, of Giallos that really need a Blu-ray release, because I'll be honest with you, they're coming out in such a massive succession right now. Um, it's that's one of the that's one of the things that kind of blows my mind, that these movies were, Giallos were pretty much an untouched thing. you, if you were lucky, you were in the UK. Well, Gialli, are you being? Are you gonna, okay, but with such an untouched form, basically, if you're in the UK and you're lucky enough to be near Shameless, then you got a bunch of them on DVD, and eventually you got some of them on Blu-ray. But for the longest time, they were just one of those that you would hope and pray that one would come out. In the UK, they've had the Strange Vice and Mrs. Ward for ages. We're getting it on Blu-ray and Severin here for the first time. Big deal. With a nice new remaster and a soundtrack in that as well. The Umberto Lenzi Carol Baker films, which would seem to most would be like a given, would be something that that would be one of the first that you would put out when it comes to this style of film. Is just coming out now, after so much, after the forgotten ones have come out. American Horror Story, Critters, Hollywood. Samara Weaving's in. I'll watch it. Samara Weaving's in. I like Samara Weaving. I've liked everything she's been in. Pure detail. Oh, I would definitely get. Oh yeah, that sounds like exactly like my style thing. Exactly. 88 Films, Jason, and Shameless have been like companies that have really like pushed forward, and Arrow later would do it later on as well. Delirium, yeah, I talked about that one actually in my last video. And yeah, Serena Grande stars in Delirium. I definitely want like a Blu-ray of Delirium with a bunch of special features. Is Serena Grande still around? Because if she is, I would love to see an interview with Serena Grande like now. I don't know if she is. I have not looked into that because I didn't know I was going to be talking about Delirium tonight. But she was a gorgeous, gorgeous lady. Like strikingly beautiful. There's a girl in this, in Trauma, by the way. Like they're all, like, I'm not gonna lie, they're all gorgeous. But there's one girl and that she didn't do a lot. But when she's on the screen, like she truly stands out. You will know who I'm talking about. I can't remember her name right now, but just like her eyes, she's got a voluptuous figure, but her eyes really, really stands out. No, she's Spanish actually. The Trauma is a Spanish film. I think she's Spanish because most of the people in Trauma, I think, are actually Spanish actors. You have to go back and look to be sure, but it's mostly. I know that a lot of like like Giallo are like Italian productions, and obviously some are Italian French productions, Italian Canadian, Italian Spanish productions, because to get the money to make the film, a lot of times they'll have to do a co-production with another country. For that film there, I do think, however, it is more Spanish based than it is Italian. But I would have to go back and look at the like really dive into it. And I'm just coming off it pretty gut, like straight from the gut, raw review of the film after watching it like twice, because this was the movie I watched once. I liked it enough that I said, yeah, I love this film. I really enjoyed the ending. And it made me think. So I went back and I watched with commentary, and when the commentary was fantastic, but it didn't address all the issues that I wanted to talk about, I came to talk to you guys, and that's what a movie club is all about, right? That's what the cult's for. Do I believe in demons? That's an interesting question. Anything is possible, man. I don't really know. Yeah, exactly. You need to have the right amount of financing. So yeah, they would co-produce with other. That's why you'll see like a lot of movies that, like say the Hammer films and stuff like that. Not just they try to get them across to like a North American market. Did I watch it alone? I did actually. Because I wasn't feeling well, and I was upstairs. I was moving some stuff today because I'm stupid, and and my knee wasn't feeling the best already. But I decided, no, I'm going to move this heavy piece of equipment anyway. So after I did that, I told my better half, I'm going to grab a snack. I'm going to hop my way upstairs, and I'm going to sit down, and I'm just going to lie in my bed and I'm going to watch some stuff. So TV's in my room. So I lied in my bed, and initially I said I'm not going to watch one of these tonight because I really want to be in the right like mindset. I want to be able to like really like concentrate on them. And at the time I was in a bit of pain. I popped a pill for the pain. And I watched Don't Torture Duckling, the Arrow video version of Don't Torture Duckling, which is, by the way, an amazing masterpiece of a Giallo. If you've never seen it, please do. And after the movie was over, my thirst was not satiated for Giallo. And I said, you know what? I'm going to break open that box set. I'm going to watch the film, the box set. So first I texted my better half because she loves this type of film too, right? She loves Gialli. So I said, I'm going to watch one in the box set. Are you okay with that? And she was, she said, go ahead. You're not feeling well. You got the movies. That's what they're there for to watch. It was your gift from your mom. Watch them. So I watched the first one. Oh, have a great night there, Indy. Enjoy your Indian food. I haven't had Indian food in a while. We used to have this great place in St. John's called India Gate. Fantastic. If you ever go to St. John's, you ever end up like in Newfoundland and St. John's, go to India Gate. It's a great restaurant. Everybody goes there. That and the Rocket. But now we've talked about trauma. Actually, I've talked about trauma, and I've done it for almost 30 minutes. So we're on the 36-minute thing, but we talked about other stuff as well. So if you want to talk about anything Giallo related right now, if you want to like bring out some questions, we can do that. Let's see what Jason said here. Like Vinegar Syndrome doesn't include the old DVDs. If they make the releases cheaper, I kind of do like that. Exactly, something that I think that she could watch, because it is a fun film, and I would like to get her opinion on it. And she'll take it from a different standpoint, as I will. And I really like that she has a different she'll have a different viewpoint on it. But I think we're gonna agree in the killer aspect of it. It was interesting. The Vinegar Syndrome sale is coming up soon. It's from the 22nd to the 25th. Though this box set, if you want to pick it up, don't wait for the sale because I don't think there's going to be any difference in the price between now and the sale. But yeah, it's definitely worth getting. I will say this, and I guess this will be the first time that I'll be able to use this, and I'll use it again in the future. This is Cult of Cinema approved. So this one here is Forgotten Gialli from Vinegar Syndrome is my first Cult of Cinema approved since we've started Cult of Cinema. So when I see something that I really like, that I think stands out, that I think should be in everybody's collection, that should be on your shelf, if you like Giallo films, you will like this set. What would be a good pairing for trauma? That's a hard one. Because of what I don't know if you were here, Warlock, for the beginning of the video, because I did get really spoilery, and you haven't met, and if you don't want it spoiled, maybe you don't want to see the beginning of the video. But then again, you're gonna figure out who the killer is 2 seconds into the film. Not even joking. That won't ruin it for you though. Don't Torture Duckling, which I watched tonight with it, in a way can work with this film, and but I'm not sure if it's the best choice for it. Full Moon released a film called Trauma, but it's not the same film. It's a much different film. There's a lot of films with the name Trauma, including a Dario Argento film that he did in North America, in the U.S., called Trauma as well. So with Isaiah Argento in it. There are a few films with the moniker, so it's really a confusing moniker to have. Like that, there's a few movies with the name Paranoia. When I was talking about the Umberto Lenzi Carol Baker box set, I think I got Spasmo and Orgasmo mixed up. But no, they did put out a movie called Trauma, just was a different one. This one here, I'm super stoked. So yeah, I'd say For certain reasons, Don't Torture a Duckling could actually work with this one. And you saw the video, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Although Don't Torture Duckling does deal with like this one doesn't deal with child killings, obviously, or maybe even Psycho, because it does have like that psycho aspect to it, or even the old Dark House, which Troy Horwath actually mentions a lot in his commentary on this one. So there's a few films you could probably pair it with. Considering it's later at night, and I started the video later, I'm probably not at my sharpest when it comes to figuring that out right now. Now, if you're wondering if these films have been talked about in Troy Horwath's books, the trauma, which by the way he says he wrote about in his third volume of So Deadly, So Perverse, but he gave it a bad review, and he regrets giving it a bad review, and he apologizes for it on the commentary. So if you got the Troy Horwath Giallo books that came out, the first two dealt with the Italian Giallos, and the third volume dealt with Giallos that weren't Italian. Then you'll if you have it and you've read his review, he is particularly, like he said, I'm particularly mean to the lead actress, and he said I was completely like wrong in my assertion when I first saw this film, and he said I did see this film initially with a much rougher copy than what he has here. That's another thing, by the way. The transfer on Trauma is incredible. Did I get the UK release of Death Laid an Egg? I love the film. I don't have it yet, actually. I got an old copy of it, not a good copy. So much like Troy Horwath, when I finally get Death Laid an Egg, which is a really good film, by the way, I agree with you. The Blu-ray, it'll be a revelation for me. But that's the thing. These movies weren't available, and people are like, well, these aren't the best Giallos ever. Like, okay, and they're three that most of us have never seen before, or have seen one or two of, or seen in like really crappy condition. The remaster is insanely good. Video screen. I remember video screams. That sounds familiar, actually. I'm kind of wondering if I had some. I remember, oh God, when early on I was trying to get like, remember the Sleepaway Camp movies are out like on in the UK, and they're like on Scream Factory and that now. But initially the Sleepaway Camp films that I had, I found them on DVD. They were like these borderline bootleg copies of Sleepaway Camp. And there's a commentary on part 3, which literally is like an audience. Like you hear like audience noise and like some laughing and stuff like that. That's the commentary track. It's really odd and strange. And when I got it, I couldn't turn off the commentary track. It was an odd one. I can't even remember where I picked it up at. I think it was at like a Zellers. Zellers was the thing here in Canada, by the way, before Target came here. And then Target went and booted it out here really quick. 2 is better than 1, in my opinion. So I'll be honest with you. 1 is a fun film. It's a lot of great inventive deaths. Sleepaway Camp 1, however, doesn't use many like actual actors in the film. They do try to tend to use real people. That's why a lot of the kids are actually are kids. You have those, Warlock? Then you know the ones I'm talking about. So some of the acting in the first Sleepaway Camp is kind of dodgy. Felissa Rose does a great job for what she has to do in the film, and she would go on to be like a gorgeous when she as she got see Felissa Rose now. She's a hottie. Now the second and third one was Pamela Springsteen, Bruce Springsteen. Yeah, Bruce Springsteen's sister. But yeah, just from Walmart. I got mine from like a Zeller's bin. I remember the bin too and everything. It had all these cheap DVDs, and I like the company. Do you remember the name of the company? You don't have it close by? You don't know the company, right? Do you? Yeah, because it was a sketchy company. I don't think it was legit. Yeah, she was like all All the people in that film were like kids. And was it a lead? Oh, they did a crappy job. Bruce doesn't have to be. Well, some girls I'm going to think are well consider Bruce Springsteen quite good looking. I'm not good at like telling the attractiveness of a Bruce Springsteen, but the fact that Bruce Springsteen has a guitar and can sing and stuff like that, I'm pretty sure he's okay. He's doing fine. Or because if you're saying, oh, okay, you got that. You're probably right on the lead entertainment thing, but it was really, if you remember the quality, it was horrible. So those getting to see it like that was a revelation. If you've ever seen any of these films in any other format, I'm not going to lie, getting to see them now like this, it's going to be a revelation. It's like when I got the Synapse version of Prom Night, and I'd had the Anchor Bay version of Prom Night, and I had like the Canadian Atlantic Alliance release of Prom Night. Atlantic Alliance, so the Alliance release of Prom Night. Where did the Atlantic part come from? And then I got the Snaps version, and it was glorious, and it was like, oh my god. And same with Curtains, like when I saw Curtains, and I saw Curtains on a Dodge VHS, and there was a DVD out there that was so, but then you get to see Curtains on Blu-ray, and it's amazing, the difference that there is. Like Kathy's Curse, it's the Kathy's Curse thing all over again. You're watching Blood, okay, Blood-Sucking Freaks. That's where I tap out. I thought he was doing a different film tonight, though. Didn't you say he was doing Heathers or something like that? Because when I was initially going to do this video, I was initially going to make this video on Shudder. Joe Bob's on Shudder. He has The Last Drive-In on Shudder. I was a little bit hesitant to make the video tonight because I knew that a lot of people were going to be watching The Last Drive-In right now. But I thought if I can get like 5 or 6 people on here to talk with me about this stuff, then gangbusters. Other people come and see it later. But yeah, Brian, this is incredible. It is the very first Call to Cinema approved release. So there you go. That is Cult of Cinema approved. Yeah, he did like Maniac earlier. And now after Maniac, he was doing Heathers, I think somebody said. And Tom Savini was on Maniac. What is that? Oh, the Forgotten Gialli box set. I watched Trauma here tonight. I watched it twice, actually. If you check my video later on, watch the beginning. It gets spoilery. It tells you a bit about the movie. I try not to go too much into plot details, but I get into certain ones, like who the killer is and who I think the other killer might be. Are they as good looking as Lena Romay? I think so. I think there's a girl in there that's definitely I would say is definitely as attractive as in my opinion anyway. Everybody's different, but I find the girls, girls in Trauma are gorgeous. Like I thought they were like, solid from were utterly gorgeous. Lena Romay, but she was his muse. They were the couple. They were the. Let me just grab a sip of my tea because I did bring a tea, knowing that I was coming up here starting my video at after 1 o'clock at night. I have heard that for the upcoming 7 releases, that the L. Amson set is now in and being getting ready to ship, and that the Umberto Lindsay, Carol Baker set is it's their first hard set. It's their first chipboard set. So it's not going to have the initial like kind of this flimsier, like older Severin kind of boxes. So it's going to be a more solid box set, and it's already done. So there should be no delays in the releases of the Umberto Lenzi Carol Baker box set, which I think is really good news. And then Al Lamps, I really think the Al Lamps set is definitely McCullough Cinema approved. Just Murder She Wrote. You definitely will see like but in a, well, you're not going to see any like nudity in Diagnosis Murder, Murder She Wrote. Every female is naked, Brian, in the movie Trauma. Every single one. If there is a girl introduced on the film, then yes, yes, sure. I'm glad actually. I hope that it's a good thing. They'll let you know if stuff's coming out. Thank you, George. I really appreciate that. You're the man. Barbara Steele. Barbara Steele was she was unusual looking, but in the most attractive way. And she was one of those girls, like when I was a kid, when I saw Barbara Steele, she had like the dark hair and like just those eyes. And I'd watch like some Bava when I was young, and I was sure she must be Italian. She's got to be Italian. To find out that later on, though, no, she's not Italian at all. With the look that she had, that just striking appearance, and that that pitch black hair, I was really surprised. And later to see her in movies like Shivers and stuff like that. But yeah, she's one of them. Like one of these days, we'll do like a stream devoted to the to some of the lesser known, like I don't want to use the word scream queens as much, but I guess that's kind of that's the word to use. Yeah, she's from England. Yeah, see, that's the thing. When I was a kid, I had no idea that Barbara Steele or Kay Parker were from England. I never would have thought either one of them were English actresses. But I guess I just gravitated towards. I was pretty much an Anglophile there. I gravitated towards the English actresses. Long Hair Death. That's one I got to get. I think Raro put that out. If I'm correct, I could be wrong, but I thought Raro put it out. It's understandable. I mean, like right now, a lot of stuff is going to be is being delayed. So Fellini. Well, she did do some Fellini. She did actually do some Fellini, didn't she? Did she do a couple? Actually, the actress in Trauma, I think it's Fellini. It's rumored that one of the actors in the movie Trauma was in Casanova. So and a lot of people in Casanova. So, but it's rumored that she's in there. So if you like that movie, with its many actors and actresses, one of the actresses from Trauma is in there. And how you're gonna find out which one? Well, listen to the commentary like I did, because I don't remember. I'm not good with names. That's the truth, especially when it's foreign names that I can't pronounce. I got to get better at that. I'm not Decker Shadow. I can't rail off the names like he can. That's if you've seen Decker Shadow, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It is unusual. It's an interesting film. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but he did mention it there, and it kind of brought me back. Do I know which actress? Don't remember. It could be the lead, actually. But I'm not quite sure, because there's a couple actresses in that. Like a lot of the actresses in this film didn't go on to do like a lot of other stuff. Now, there's one of the actors in here. God, I see him in a few things. But he usually has a bigger part than he has in this one. If you like the Dolce Vita, Brian, you're going to love Forgotten Gialli. The Vinegar Syndrome box set. But yeah, like a lot of the actresses in this one, except her, she, did a lot of stuff. Obviously, she was in the next Marilyn. That was, she's usually got this platinum blonde hair, but as you can see right here on the cover, she has dark hair, and she's gorgeous. Like every single girl in this movie is gorgeous. I've said that a lot, but it's true. It's it's something that kind of stands out. I had to look at the movie, the back of the cover, and make sure I wasn't watching an Andre Bianchi film. to say, okay, everybody gets naked? Are you serious? There's usually one holdout, but no, nobody held out. Always a plus. But show it again. This box set. This is Forgotten Gialli box set, Volume 1. It was put up with Vinegar Syndrome, was part of the April package. And it is honestly, it's my first Call to Cinema approved release. How does the box compare to the Angel and the Amityville box sets? Have they improved? I thought the Angel and the box sets were excellent, like personally. I think that they do the best box sets, bar none, out of like all the companies that do box sets out there. It is very similar in structure to the Amityville box set as opposed to the Angel one. It lifts off like this. It's solid, and as you can see, it doesn't dent easily, so always a plus there. The films are extremely easy to get out, and the first one to do this, and I hope to keep this up, and there are Giallo sets. When you open up the set and you look on the inside, the primary weapon is like what's shown on the inside of the case with a blood splatter. So it's an extremely well done set. It's well put together. If you like the Amityville set and you like the Angel set, you're not going to be disappointed. I do think they're getting better as they go along. I think you're going to like it, Warlock. I really do. I think that you're going to be really pleased with this set. And as much as I love the Amityville Curse set, as much as the Angel things are near and dear to my heart, I got a feeling this is going to be something like this, one of those where I'm going to go back to the well. To watch the first film and then go back and watch the film with commentary again right away does say something for me for that. And that's just the first one. I haven't watched the other two yet. And but I seem solid. They do. Vinegar Syndrome and Severin have upped their game. They have started to start like Vinegar Syndrome are going to go more into Giallo is definitely my favorite genre. Followed closely by slashers because I'm an '80s kid, right? And then film noir. But Vinegar Syndrome is going more into European and Spanish horror. You're going to see a lot more of that pumped out, I think. Severin was already there, so you're going to see more of that coming up from Severin. Obviously, you're already starting to see like Severin have a more macabre-ish, eclectic, global, like horror output, and you're going to see that that Vinegar Syndrome is going to do a lot of the same. So if you're a fan of Spanish horror, if you're a fan of Giallos, if you're a fan of if you're a fan of that type of those type of films, you're really probably going to be pleased with what's coming up for Vinegar Syndrome, what the stuff they've hinted at. I haven't got to listen to. There's a podcast, the Shockwaves podcast, talking with the guys from Vinegar Syndrome, and they do announce a couple releases apparently. I haven't. I've tried to stay away from any spoilers on that, so please don't tell me. I'm going to listen to that later on tonight. And all I know is that they did say that they're going to do the first Vinegar Syndrome 3D release. That's all I know. They don't say what it is. So there is some unique stuff coming out from Vinegar Syndrome in the next little while. Severin, Vinegar Syndrome, They're the companies right now to bank for. Hey there, Eric. Welcome, man. And it's gotten quiet. Nobody knows what to say. Anybody have any questions before I go? Before I end this one at a shorter time frame. In 5, 4, 3. Vinegar Center 3D glasses. That'd be interesting. What did you miss, Dave? Forgotten Gialli Volume 1 is now officially Cult of Cinema approved. It is what a Cult Cinema approved means. It is a release that I think should be in every cinema fan's collection. No, I talked about Trauma, which is the first release that I watched on here. I watched the film and I listened to the commentary with Troy Haworth afterwards. I would recommend going back and checking it out. It's very spoilery, my conversation on this, but I think it's interesting anyway. But yes, so I recommend this one, guys. If you like Giallo, it's definitely a good one. Are these the best Giallos that are ever made? No, you know they're not going to be. But if you like Giallo, are they fun? So yeah, it's Professor Pick. I haven't been called the professor in a long time, but thanks a lot. Hopefully, when all this stuff blows over eventually, we'll be actually professoring a bit. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I'm interested to see what comes out from Severn and Vinegar Syndrome in the next few months. I'm extremely excited and I'm also extremely scared because I don't need to spend any more money. I do recommend, if you have not picked up and you're looking at the Severin Umberto Lenzi box set, it is definitely one to pick up. It's got some great stuff in it, and it really does has, along with as some of the like going closer to the Genesis. Actually, I've got a 3D TV, right, man? Both the 3D and 4K TV. The 4K is in my living room, and the 3D one's up in my bedroom. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they come up with in the next while. But Umberto Lenzi, Carol Baker box set, strongly recommend it. Thanks, George. Yeah, I'm going to listen to you because I'm definitely not going to do that after tonight. With that being said, I'm Aaron. Get that box set, the Lenzi Baker box set, especially if you're going to go for the bundle. Only the first 1,000 have the postcards in them. So yeah, there's postcards with that Umberto Lenzi Carol Baker box set if you buy the bundle. And the bundle has a really cool Paranoia t-shirt, so that's going to be awesome as well. I am Aaron. You are the Cult of Cinema. You guys rock. Thank you so much for coming in to join me tonight, because I know that it's Friday night and there's so much stuff to be doing, including Joe Bob Briggs. So for those of you that came and spent time away from Joe Bob to actually come here tonight and watch my modest little stream, I truly appreciate it. But for me right now, it's time for tea. I should really go to sleep, but I kind of want to watch another movie. Have a great night.